Imagine you wake up tomorrow, look at your phone, and see that you just won $50 million. The adrenaline hits your chest like a wave. No more bills, no more commute, no more checking your balance before you buy groceries. Almost everyone believes this single moment would erase every problem they will ever have. But for an estimated 70% of lottery winners, this is the exact moment their life begins to fall apart. Within a few years, many lose everything. They don't just return to zero. They end up further in debt than before they ever bought the ticket. They lose their friends. They fracture their families. They sink into depression. How do you receive enough money to support 10 generations and still go broke? The answer has almost nothing to do with the money. It has everything to do with a handful of flaws wired directly into human psychology. Everyone has run the fantasy. We map out the post-win life in perfect detail: the modern mansion, the exotic car, the private jet to a tropical island, and the assumption underneath the whole daydream is simple: more money equals more happiness permanently. Psychologists studied lottery winners closely, and what they found breaks that assumption in half. It's a phenomenon called hedonic adaptation. When something huge and positive happens, your brain floods with dopamine and you feel invincible, but your brain cannot hold that intensity. Within months, it resets to the same baseline you started from. The mansion stops feeling like a palace and becomes the house you wake up in. The supercar stops feeling like a spaceship and becomes the thing you drive to the store. To feel that first high again, you have to buy something bigger, faster, more expensive, and now you're sprinting on a luxury treadmill just to feel normal. The money didn't buy a new baseline, it only raised the price of standing still. To understand why sudden wealth destroys people, look at the blueprint. For 99% of human history, we lived in scarcity. If a hunter found a surplus of berries or meat, he couldn't invest it or save it for later. It rotted. The only winning move was to consume it now. Our brains were built to manage immediate survival, not compound interest, diversified portfolios, or tax strategy. We are the descendants of the people who grabbed the resource in front of them. So, when an ordinary brain receives a lottery payout, the ancient wiring overrides the rational mind. It doesn't register a finite pool that needs careful management. It registers an endless ocean. Because the headline number is so large, every individual purchase feels like nothing. What's a $50,000 watch against 50 million? A single drop out of the sea. But fortunes don't vanish in one dramatic mistake. They drain through 1,000 small leaks nobody was watching. There's a trap that swallows everyone, from minimum wage workers to executives: lifestyle inflation. Normally it moves slowly. As income climbs over 20 years, spending creeps up alongside it. You barely notice. But a lottery winner skips the entire ladder and gains decades of income in an afternoon. So lifestyle inflation hits at full speed. They buy a $10 million estate without realizing a mega mansion isn't a purchase. It's a liability that has to be fed every single month. That home carries six-figure property taxes, specialized insurance, utilities, landscaping, pool crews, security. The fleet of exotic cars arrives, and an oil change on a Ferrari costs more than a year of rent in the old apartment. Here's the physics. The more wealth you display, the higher your fixed costs climb. Eventually, the overhead grows so large the fortune starts eating itself just to keep the lights on. In most places, when you win, your name becomes public. The moment it does, your whole social world fractures. The phone never stops. Friends you haven't spoken to since childhood call to check in. Relatives you didn't know existed appear at your door, and everyone arrives with a story, a medical bill, a foreclosure, a business idea that cannot fail. Saying no to a stranger is easy. Saying no to your mother or your oldest friend is a different kind of warfare. So the guilt sets in. You start writing checks, paying off mortgages, funding cousins, buying cars, and you run straight into a brutal rule: generosity creates resentment. Give one friend 100,000 and another 50, and the second feels insulted. Give someone money once, they thank you. Give it twice, they expect it. The day you finally draw a line, you become selfish, arrogant, changed by the money. The winner ends up financially drained and socially alone at the same time. Run a quick experiment. With $20 in your pocket, your brain does sharp risk management. A $10 lunch is half your liquid net worth. You actually think about it. Now you have 50 million. A $200,000 watch is a tiny fraction of that, so your brain approves it instantly with zero friction. But intuition collapses on large numbers. 50 million sounds like infinity. In reality, it's fragile. First, taxes take roughly 40% up front. Your 50 million is suddenly 30. Spend a modest-looking 2 million a year, invest the rest poorly, and the whole base is gone in under 15 years. Add inflation, depreciating toys, and a couple of bad market cycles, and the clock runs faster. The wealth feels infinite to your brain. The arithmetic is brutal, and it doesn't negotiate. Sudden wealth is blood in the water. It attracts an entire ecosystem. Slick money managers, speculative founders, can't lose deals. These are people who spend their whole careers learning to extract capital from those who don't know better. And the winner walks straight in because of a bias called the illusion of competence. I have millions, so I must be good with money. They start investing in things they don't understand: restaurants, startups, complex developments, trusting smooth-talking partners who have no skin in the game. When those ventures fail, and most do, the partners keep their fees and walk, and the winner is left holding millions in liabilities. Having money and knowing how to deploy money are two completely different skills. The lottery hands you the first and tricks you into believing you have the second. Compare two people who both end up with 10 million. One built it over 30 years, the other won it in 30 seconds. The builder was forced to grow at the same pace as the money. Across decades of failed launches, downturns, and hard hiring decisions, the builder develops calluses. He learns discipline. He learns to read a balance sheet, to price risk, to spot a scam, to say no with authority. The winner skips that entire loop. He gets the ultimate reward with none of the training required to protect it. It's a brand new driver handed a 1,000-horsepower race car and pointed at a mountain road. The machine is a masterpiece. The crash is just a matter of time. This is why self-made wealth runs on a different operating system. When an ordinary person looks at money, they see consumption. What can this buy me today? When a wealth builder looks at the same bill, they see production. A small worker they can send into the market to bring back more. They don't see a pile to spend down. They see an engine that should generate income on its own. So the builder knows that buying a $200,000 car out of his core capital is self-sabotage. Instead, he buys the asset first, lets the asset throw off cash, and pays for the car out of that cash flow. One person buys things that lose value, the other buys things that produce it. The bank balance matters far less than which of those two you are. There's a darker side to sudden wealth almost no one talks about: the quiet destruction of purpose. Human beings are wired for progress. We need goals, friction, and obstacles to hold our sense of self together. When you struggle towards something and reach it, your brain pays you in meaning. But win 50 million overnight, and every goal is deleted at once. No promotion to chase, no business to build, nothing left to save for. Without the structure of work, many winners fall into a void. The routine is gone. The people are gone. They're alone in a huge, silent house with nothing to push against. The thrill of freedom curdles into boredom, and boredom is dangerous. It's where the destructive habits move in. They learn far too late that a life with no obstacles is just another kind of cage. So the broke lottery winner was never really a story about the lottery. It's a mirror. We're taught that financial security is a matter of getting more money in. But security was never an income problem. It's a behavior. A person can earn millions through sport, fame, or business and still go bankrupt if the wiring underneath is broken. And a person on a modest income can build something unshakable through patience, consistency, and a little honest math. Because here's the mechanism under all 9 of these traps. The lottery doesn't change who you are with money. It multiplies it. If you can't manage $1,000 with discipline, 50 million won't rescue you. It will just fund your unraveling at a much higher speed. So the real prize was never the jackpot. It was the version of you capable of holding it. Wealth isn't the number that lands in your account. It's the discipline that's still standing the day after the money does. The world will keep selling you the dream of suddenly having more. The quiet truth is that almost no one is broke because they didn't make enough. They're broke because they couldn't keep it. So before you ever wish for the ticket, build the person who wouldn't need it. Because in the end, real wealth was never measured by what you managed to make. It's measured by what you managed to keep.